Hi guys, let's discuss today's set of questions. Here's the first one. Have book and pen ready. Try to write as much as you can. Whom the following persons defeated Novak Djokovic to lift his first Grand Slam trophy at the 2021 US Open? Now there are four Grand Slam events in tennis. You would have the US Open or Australian. Yeah, it's called Australian Open, followed by the French Open and the Wimbledon, and in the end we have the US Open. Okay, so four of these major tennis tournaments are called the Grand Slam events. Now this year, for the first time ever, a Russian, I mean not for the first time ever, but a Russian has lifted the trophy. His name is Daniil Medvedev. I'm going to give you a list of the winners of this year's US Open across categories. Why don't we write this? Here's you write like this. The title should be 2021 US Open, and below that you could start with men's singles. Write like this please, men's singles. Only the case of men's singles and women's singles we will take the name of both the winner and the runner-up, but in the case in other categories, and in case of other categories we'll just name the winners. So winner, okay, you could write this Daniil Medvedev, Russia. That's how we pronounce the name, Russia. We usually say Russia, but it is Russia. How do you say that? Russia. There are two sounds, Russia and Russia. So you have the winner. The runner-up was, you can see here up there, the runner-up, Novak Djokovic. It's already mentioned here. He comes from Serbia. From the country of Serbia. So let's go a little beyond this and let's look at the women's singles. So I'll just write like you follow the same pattern. I'll just write the names. The winner was the winner was this Emma, 18-year-old girl, Emma Radunaku. No, it's always confusing. First time ever I heard of her name when I read about her exploits in the tournament. Actually, I follow this kind of tournaments. So when I first read about her defeating big well-seeded players, high-seeded players, I was quite surprised. Emma Raducanu, she's from Britain. You could also write UK, hardly any difference. Runner-up, another teenager, Leila Fernandez. She comes from Canada. The surprising part, ladies and gentlemen, is that Emma was also born in Canada, but she migrated to Britain along with her parents when she was very young, actually. Okay, so that's the winner, Emma Raducanu, 18-year-old, and Leila Fernandez, another teenager, finished runner-up. So this is the info about the singles winners and runners-up. Let's look at the winners of three other categories: men's doubles, women's doubles, and mixed doubles. So please write men's doubles. I'll just write the names now. Men's doubles winners: Rajiv Ram of US and Joe Salisbury of UK. They played for a long time, together for a long time now. Rajiv Ram and Joe Salisbury, men's doubles winners. Okay, so let's look at the women's singles winners. Women's doubles winners. Okay, Samantha Stosur. If I'm not wrong, she comes from Australia. She's an Australian. Okay, and Chang. What's her name? Jang Shuai. Sometimes these names are difficult to recall. She's from China. Zhang Shuai. Samantha Stosur and Zhang Shuai won the women's doubles tournament. Women's doubles title. And here, ladies and gentlemen, in the end we should write mixed doubles winners, right? Mixed doubles. So we always start with the name of the women's player, in the team. The woman player was Desiree Krawczyk. Okay, she's from the US. Desiree Krawczyk, and she partnered with Joe Salisbury. So for Joe Salisbury, it was a double. He won the men's doubles title as well as the mixed doubles title. Joe Salisbury, UK. Okay, so we got the names of both the the winners in all categories and the runners up in the singles, across genders. So here goes the first question, my friends, ladies and gentlemen. I think you know the names of all these guys. They're quite familiar with Rafael Nadal, the Swiss Express Roger Federer, his compatriot Stanislav Wawrinka. Compatriot means belonging to the same country. So you and I are compatriots. We are from India together. I believe you are. We are all from India, so we are compatriots. Okay. So Roger Federer and Stanislav Wawrinka, and then Andy Murray. Murray is a British guy. Emma Raducanu. This is Emma. I forgot that there was a question on her as well. She's from she's from the she's from Britain. She's from Britain. So I mean, look at how young, just 18 years old, and she started playing tennis when she was 5 years old. And academically she's topped everywhere. I mean, of course, till 18 you hardly cross higher school, but then she's done very well in academics as well. So that's about it, I guess, about the tennis tournament. Let's go past this and let's look at a few more things. Jim Langdon has recently been appointed the Chief Executive Officer of Yahoo. What is that? Yahoo. See, when we're looking at these kinds of names and all, we need to appreciate the fact that these names are difficult to remember. I understand these names are difficult to remember, but try to look. Yahoo is a part of life. Those who have had who have email accounts generally would have started. At least in the beginning, they would have started with Hotmail and Yahoo. Gmail has come only recently, but you need to understand that it was all Hotmail in the beginning, and then Yahoo. So Yahoo was till about 2000, the most visited website in the world. Now it's of course Google, but in the past it was Yahoo. Okay. So this is Yahoo, and Yahoo owns today. Yahoo Incorporated is owned by owns companies like Engadget. It owns brands like Engadget. If you're not familiar with this, they review gadgets. There are lots of articles on gadgets, the latest gadgets, comparative stuff. Engadget. Then there is TechCrunch, because I frequently visit these websites. I know this. Yeah. So I would suggest you find out a little more about this. You could also look at America Online, AOL, America Online. So they're all, owned by Yahoo. Till recently, Yahoo was owned by a company called Verizon. Now it's owned by a company. So Yahoo is owned by Apollo Global Management. Apollo Global Management. Apollo Global Management. So Apollo Global Management. Okay, let's go past this and let's talk about something more here. Why don't we look at the founders of Yahoo? Who founded Yahoo? See, this was a mega company, but unfortunately it fell on very hard times. It didn't see the future. It was founded by two persons, David Philo. Yahoo was founded by David Philo and Jerry Yang. Jerry Yang. So Yahoo was co-founded by David Philo and Jerry Yang. It has two headquarters. One is in Sunnyvale, California, US, and the other one is New York City. New York City. Okay. See, they were offered $40 billion by Microsoft. That is, Microsoft wanted to buy Yahoo for $40 billion. But these two guys asked for $44 billion. And Microsoft said, no, thanks. And what happened? Later it was sold for just $4 billion. Yes, that's a fact. So we should grab an opportunity when it comes our way, or better understand the future. So why don't we look at the CEOs of the rest of the companies, ladies and gentlemen? Twitter's CEO is Jack Dorsey. Instagram is owned by Facebook. Okay, so we know the CEO of Facebook is so let's write Facebook. CEO of Facebook is Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, and if you want to know who founded Instagram comes from two separate words: instant camera plus telegram. Yes, instant camera plus telegram. Instagram was founded by Mike Krieger and Kevin Systrom. Okay, Kevin Systrom. So Amazon CEO is Andy Jassy. Amazon is the world's largest internet company, my friends. World's largest internet company. Yeah. Andy Jassy is the CEO of Amazon. Google CEO is Sundar Pichai. Sundar Rajan Pichai or Sundar Pichai. Okay, there we go. And those of you not greatly familiar, I'll just tell you something here. In the case of Google, it was co-founded by Lawrence Page, also called Larry Page. Lawrence Page and Sergey Brin. These two guys started Google. Amazon was started by its current chairman, founder chairman, Jeff Bezos. Which country's defense contractor recently unveiled a remote control armored robot that can patrol, reconnaissance, or battle zones, track infiltrators, and open fire? Israel's state-owned, more or less state-owned company. It's called Israel Aerospace Industries developed this. Okay, this particular armored robot is called Rex Mark II or MII. It's also written MII. Rex Mark II. That's the name of the robot. It would be greatly useful in a country like ours, especially along the border in the Kashmir, in Jammu and Kashmir. We have this LOC, line of control, which was a ceasefire line of 1948. January 1st, 1949, India Pakistan stopped fighting along a certain line in J&K, and that line, the ceasefire line, is today called the line of control. So this is the name of the rocket, and shall we look at the names of the leaders of these countries? Yeah, something extra about each of these countries, my friends. United States, the capital is Washington DC. It's the fourth biggest country in the world by area. Fourth biggest country by area. Its area is about 95 lakh square kilometers. That makes it the fourth biggest country by area. The biggest would be Russia. Just for why don't I'll give this list once I'm done with this particular thing. Okay, the president is Joseph Biden or Joe Biden. Israel's capital is Jerusalem. That is the official capital. And the prime minister is Bennett Neftali. Bennett Neftali. Bennett Neftali. Okay. The currency, if you would want to write, is new shekel. New shekel. Spain. Let's go to Spain. Spain, as you know, is a country in Europe. Yeah. Spain is ruled from Lisbon, the capital. No, I always get this. I don't know why this happens. It's run from Madrid. Madrid. The president, the prime minister. There is a monarchy here, constitutional monarchy. So the king, there is a king, but he is not important to us. The prime minister is important, and his name is Pedro Sanchez. The currency is euro. Currency is euro. What about Germany? For now, there is a German chancellor, the same old German chancellor, Angela Merkel. But before that, the capital, Berlin. And the prime minister, the chancellor, they don't have a prime minister, they have a chancellor. Her name is Angela Merkel. You would have found that in the past also. I told you that it's not Angela, it's Angela. Okay, in her name's case, it's Angela. So it's Angela Merkel. And the currency is euro. United Kingdom, capital is London. You know this. And the prime minister is Boris Johnson. The currency is pound. 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 So I told you that I will give you some extra information, ladies and gentlemen. It's here. You could write shall we write 7 largest nations by area, top 7 nations by area. I am writing in short, you write in full, please. Top 7 nations by area. So rank 1, Russia, 1.7 crore square kilometers. 2, Canada, 99 lakh square kilometers. So when I say 99 lakh, it's between 99 and 100. Okay, so when in the case of Russia, 1.7 crore would mean between 1.7 crore to 1.71 crore. Okay. China, 96. Here we'll put detail marks. 4, United States, 95 lakh. So I written in lowercase, no issue. Okay. So avoid putting a dot after the number, rank. This is rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you are ranking something, you should not put dots, else they turn into serial numbers. So you have Brazil, 85, 6, Australia, 76, 7, India, 32. 32. Now you look at this. Look at Australia's area, 76 lakh square kilometers, and that would mean, they have a population of about 2.6 crore. 2.6 crore spread across 76 lakh square kilometer area, whereas ours is 136 crores and That's in 132, sorry, that is in 32 lakh square kilometers, 32 lakh square kilometers. So one third of, sorry, less than half of Australia's area, but population, you know, Australia's population is about 1.5%, you can say 2% of India's population. Yeah. Look at China. China's area is 3 times India's area. They have a population that is slightly higher than India's. Okay. So that's about it. Let's go past this. 8th country would be Kazakhstan. 9th would be Argentina. Sorry, 8th is Argentina. 9th is Kazakhstan. And 10th would be Algeria. You have heard of Algeria? Algeria is in North Africa. The biggest country in Africa is Algeria. Okay. In its report titled Groundswell, okay, which institution recently stated that climate change could cause 216 million, 1 million is 10 crore, 10 lakh, so that's 21.6 crore, okay, could cause about 22 crore people to migrate within their own countries by 2050. So when a person migrates from one part to another part, you know, in search of livelihood, and these are desperately poor people, for in a natural catastrophe, natural disaster, or because of certain political reasons, if people move, they are called internally displaced migrants or internally displaced people, IDP, internally displaced people. Okay, so there could be about 20 crore people across the world. Now, what kind of climate change are we discussing? We are discussing a rise in surface temperature. Okay, temperatures rise, and that could lead to a lot of problems. Like, for example, you know, as temperatures rise, ice caps at in the polar regions in Greenland, they would melt. As they would melt, the melting ice caps would lead to rise in sea levels. As sea levels rise, coastal areas would get inundated, flooded, and that would mean that people will have to move, to inner areas. At the same time, frequent flooding is another reason. Then water scarcity. Then we have declining crop productivity. Yeah, we also have major issues concerning frequent droughts in some parts of the world. If you look at California in the US, there's been a massive drought for a long time now. Okay, you look at western Maharashtra, there have been frequent flooding. The rains have been much more intense than otherwise. Okay, and this has been there for the last 3 years now. So things are changing a bit. Places which have been experienced rain for a long time are experiencing more rain, in recent past, and places which have had pretty good rainfall are experiencing droughts. You may call it freak, but when it happens, freak is once, but when it happens over a period of time, it no longer is freak. It becomes the new normal, and that's the dangerous part. Yeah. Imagine imagine India's in the sea levels rise. When sea levels rise, look at people living in the coastal areas of India, Mumbai, large cities like Mumbai, Kochi, Trivandrum. You have New Mangaluru, you have you have Chennai, Tuticorin. Yeah, go up Vishakhapatnam. Yeah, what would happen to people living along the coast? So they would have to move inwards, and that would put pressure. The land would shrink, and that would put more pressure on resources. So there are a lot of problems unless we tackle climate change. What about the choices here? But before that, let's look at the World Bank itself. World Bank, you could write World Bank Group. You write this World Bank Group. Underline that first point. Established 1944. Established 1944-45. 44 it was established, 45 it started working. So 1944. Second point, head office. Where is head office? Washington DC. Washington, DC. District of Columbia. Washington DC. America has 50 states and one federal district. Okay, this federal district is not a part of any state. So This is directly controlled by the US central government, which we call it central government, they call it federal government. That's it. Okay? Yeah. So, Washington DC, third point. President David Malpass, US. Then, right, MD and Chief Financial Officer, MD, Managing Director and Chief Financial Officer, Anshula Kant, India. She was with the SBI in the past. She started her life as an SBI probationary officer. When I say her life, I'm talking about career. Next, Chief Economist, Carmen Reinhart, US. She was born in Cuba, but Carmen Reinhart. Last point. Comprises five institutions. So the World Bank Group has 5 agencies within it. Okay, like you have the IBRD, International Bank for Reconstruction Development, the International Development Association, IDA. They have the MEGA. Plenty of them actually. Some of the time we'll discuss more about this. So basic information taken, we'll take advanced stuff later. Leave online space, write IMF, International Monetary Fund. The first 2 points will be the same. The first 2 points in the case of the World Bank would be the same for IMF as well. So you could write established 1944. And next, we say, head office Washington DC. Next, CEO and MD. Kristalina Georgieva. She is from Bulgaria, a country in East Europe. Kristalina Georgieva. Next, Chief Economist. Dash Geeta Gopinath. Okay. Right, last point. World Bank and IMF are together called Bretton Woods twins. Are together called Bretton Woods twins. See, in 1944, at a place called Bretton Woods, the village of Bretton Woods in the New Hampshire state in the East Coast, it was decided by leading powers then world of the then strategic world. They decided that they would have 2 organizations that would help in rebuilding the world, the shattered economies of major nations, as well as also help in rebuilding countries with the help of loans. So that's how these 2 were born, IMF and the World Bank. The idea was to, because see, the reason behind this name is very simple. They were born in the same conference, in the same place. That's why called Bretton Woods twins. Now this report also, to go back to the report, it also says that See, when I say 22 crore people, we need to understand that majority of these people would be in sub-Saharan Africa. Sub-Sahara is below the Sahara desert. You have this area below. Sub is below Sahara, sub-Sahara. It is believed that about 8.6 crore people in this area would have to migrate as the desert spread. It's a very dangerous thing, my friends. Yeah, and it's a pretty populous area. As far as South Asia is concerned, about 4.6 crore people may have to move, and about 4.9 crore in East Asia and the Pacific region. Pacific region would include the small, tiny islands of Marshall Islands, Palau, Tuvalu, Nauru, Tonga. Yeah, things are bleak, my friends. Pretty bleak. And before we go further, before we go to the next one, why don't we look at these organizations as well? Just the head office and the chief. AIIB is Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Beijing. That is where the head office is. Beijing. And Jinlikan, China. Jinlikan, China. Next, Asian Development Bank. Asian Development Bank, headquartered in Manila, the capital of Philippines. And its president is Masatsugu Asakawa. Okay. Last one, New Development Bank, NDB, also called BRICS Bank. Head office in Shanghai. Shanghai, and its president is a Brazilian named Marcos Troijo. He's from Brazil. Okay, we didn't mention the name of the countries, the names of the countries in the case of 1 and 2. Asian Development Bank's president is from Japan. Masatsugu is from Japan. And Likan is from China. Okay. Bhupendra Patel has recently been sworn in as the 17th Chief Minister of Gujarat. He succeeded a guy called Vijay Rupani. So Vijay Rupani was succeeded by Bhupendra Patel. He's a first time MLA. Okay. Bihar, Nitish Kumar. Karnataka, they have a new chief minister, Basavaraj Bommai. He replaced B.S. Yedurappa, BSY. So the current chief minister of Karnataka is Basavaraj Bommai. Maharashtra, India's third biggest state by area. Chief Minister is Uddhav Thackeray. Madhya Pradesh, India's second largest state by area. Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Okay, guys. India's largest open-air fernery was recently inaugurated at Ranikhet in Uttarakhand. Now, what's a fernery? Fernery is a garden of ferns. F-E-R-N, fern. Fern is a kind of flowerless, leafed plant. There are no flowers. A fern plant has no flowers. Okay, so the biggest open-air fernery has been built at Ranikhet in Almora district in Uttarakhand. Where So from here you could look at a few more things. Uttarakhand's new chief minister is Prakash, sorry, Pushkar Singh Dhami. Pushkar Singh Dhami. Pushkar Singh Dhami. Jammu and Kashmir is the lieutenant governor, no chief minister. This lieutenant governor's name is Manoj Sinha. Manoj Sinha. Himachal Pradesh, I think it's Jairam Thakur. Punjab, oh, Punjab has a new chief minister. His name is Charanjit Singh. Charanjit Singh Channi. Charanjit Singh Channi is the new chief minister of Punjab. He succeeded Amarinder Singh. So Mizoram has a chief minister named Pu Zamthanga. Zaramthanga. Yeah. Amid COVID restrictions, the Nua Kai Festival was celebrated on the 11th of September. This festival is native to the state of Odisha and some parts of Chhattisgarh also, but western Odisha and southern Chhattisgarh. Okay, guys, now what is this? This is a harvest festival. You could write this. It's a harvest festival that welcomes the new rice of the season. So newly harvested rice. I have always been fascinated with all these festivals, culture, people celebrating a few things. You know, I mean, amidst despair, like COVID despair. So we have Odisha's Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik. Then Assam. What's the name? Assam's Chief Minister is Himanta Biswa Sharma. And yeah, he's a new Chief Minister. West Bengal, good old Mamata Banerjee. She's been there for a third term now. Mamata Banerjee. Meghalaya, Conrad Sangma. Names that are familiar, I'm writing in short, but otherwise in full. Okay. Conrad Sangma. Daniel Ricciardo recently won the Formula One Italian Grand Prix 2021. He drives a McLaren. The full name is McLaren Mercedes. They provide the engine, friends. The team's name is McLaren, but Mercedes provides the engine. Okay, so it's the team's official name is McLaren, but racing wise it's called McLaren Mercedes. Okay, so you want to know where is he from? You could write what do you want to write? Ricciardo, Australia. He's from Australia and he drives for McLaren F1 team. Let's go a little past this. Let's look at something more. You see this Dell here. I'm using a Dell computer now, Dell laptop. This company was started by a person called Michael Dell. He started this in his hostel room. Dell is a pioneer of a particular model called direct to customer. There is no middle person. You place an order with the company, they send you the computer. So the price is that much lower. There is no profit of the middleman. There is no cost involved here. This Ferrari is owned by a company called Stellantis. Mercedes is owned by Daimler. It's owned by Daimler. These are the names of the companies, parent companies. Okay. So if you look at Stellantis, it owns brands like Fiat, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Alfa Romeo. You look at what is this? Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, DODG, Dodge, RAM. All these things. So be interested in these things. It would help if you know more things than usual. Okay. So when you see the Ferrari logo, there's a horse, a black horse. That horse is called prancing horse. Prancing. Prancing horse. Prancing means playful. Prancing horse. Become curious about these things. Not knowing is never an issue, but trying hard is a good thing. Like for example, you look at this name, Renault. How do you pronounce Ren? Oh, it's not Renault. What is it? Renault. Renault is a French company. Renault is a French company which is a majority shareholder in a Japanese company called Nissan. 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 That's why most products of Renault look similar to the products of Nissan and vice versa. Okay, yeah. Ajij Akhanouch is the new Prime Minister of Morocco. The capital of Morocco is Rabat. This is Morocco. You see this area, my friends, is called Maghreb. North Africa is called Maghreb. Okay, there's a name for it, Maghreb. Let me take you through this. See, this entire area is desert, Sahara Desert. This entire area is Sahara Desert. Okay, so now that we know this, let me take you further on this. Sub-Sahara, a while ago I mentioned, this is Sub-Sahara. This area is Sub-Sahara. This area. Okay. Some of the poorest countries are located here. This is Morocco. It was ruled by Spain and France for some time. And let's look at in the case of Morocco, let's look at the king's name. The king is most powerful here. Prime Minister is on paper. Okay. Muhammad the Sixth. The king's name is Muhammad the Sixth. When we write is Muhammad Roman numeral 6, but when we read that name is Muhammad the Sixth. Pretty much like Queen Elizabeth the Second. Okay. So we have this particular country, Morocco, and you see this is Spain and Portugal. You see this area is called the Iberian Peninsula. Those who will love geography, please know that this is called Iberian Peninsula. In the Iberian Peninsula, there are 3 countries: Portugal, Spain, and there is a tiny country here called Andorra. What is it? Andorra. Okay. Find out things, guys. It's fun. Canberra is the capital of Australia. Pretoria is one of the 3 capitals of South Africa. You could write Pretoria, Cape Town, Bloemfontein, all capitals of South Africa. What is it? South Africa. It's usually called RSA, Republic of South Africa. Okay, because if you write just SA, there's another country that could come to this particular thing. There could be a clash. That's Saudi Arabia. But Saudi Arabia is differentiated from the Republic of Republic of South Africa with KSA, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Republic of South Africa. That's how it is. Yeah. So Riga is the capital of a Baltic country in the northeast of Europe. You have Latvia. Bogota is the capital of Colombia. Colombia is a large country South America, named after Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus. Okay. See, this is the Horn of Africa. This area, you see, this looks like a rhinoceros horn. It's called the Horn of Africa. This area. This area. So, what countries would you find in the Horn of Africa? Let me clear this so that you will be that much more comfortable. You find Ethiopia, Somalia, and Djibouti. 3 countries. What is it? Djibouti, Ethiopia, and Somalia. You see, this is the Red Sea. Now, the Red Sea is called so because of the presence of an algae that gives a color red to these waters. So, below the waters, you will find a certain kind of algae that gives the color red to the water. That's why it's called the Red Sea. There's no other reason. This is the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, Mediterranean Sea. Medi is middle, terra is land, EAN is a Greek suffix for water body. This is Greece. So the ancient people in this part of the world believed that this area was in the middle of the earth and this water body was in the middle of the earth. So the water body in the middle of the earth is Mediterranean Sea. And some people also believe that there are different theories, of course, that this water body is located because this water body is located between Africa and Europe. Is called Mediterranean Sea. That's it. But there is no particular thing as this is the right thing. Yeah. Which country commits the world's biggest trial of a blood test called the Gallery blood test that will detect more than 50 types of cancer? United Kingdom. It started this trial, but this test comes from Grail. Gallery blood test has been started by a company called Grail, which is a California US based company. It's an American company. So they are using a certain methodology through which they get to know if a person is likely to have cancer even before the symptoms appear. Even before the symptoms appear, there is a possibility that cancer could be detected in people. You never know. See, just because some symptoms appear, the test also says that just because some symptoms appear doesn't mean the person is going to have cancer. Okay, so there are a lot of things of course here, ifs and buts, but I just want you to know that when we are trying to learn things, see, certain types of cancers are not detected till they are in an advanced stage. Yeah, sometimes things go pretty bad. Stage 3, stage 4. Stage 4 is more or less terminal kind of thing. Yeah. It is believed that there are 120 types of cancers. Just to give you an idea, here यहाँ पे Cuba है. Okay, Cuba's capital is Havana, and its president is a guy called Miguel Canel Diaz. I just saw it. So Miguel Canel Diaz, and the currency is peso, Cuban peso. Chaliye. The digital population clock, which will provide a minute-by-minute estimate of the population of India, was recently inaugurated at the Institute of Economic Growth in New Delhi. Now, this would say that India's population is 136 crores. The current Indian population is 136 crore. The global population is 779 crore. I found this number this morning, just before the class, because the numbers keep changing every minute. So 779 crore is a lot of number. I mean, 1/6 of the humanity is in India, my friends. Boy, that's a lot. And now, who started this? Institute of Economic Growth in India. VKRV Rao in 1952. Do you want the full name? Vijayendra Kasturi Ranga Vardaraja Rao. Vijayendra Kasturi Ranga, Varadaraja Rao. Okay, that's the guy who founded this particular institute. This is considered to be one of India's foremost institutes, on economic planning and forecast and all that. It's also its president is a guy called N.K. Singh. President N.K. Singh. You know who's this N.K. Singh? He is the chairman of the 15th Finance Commission, Nand Kishore Singh. Yes, former IAS officer. What would you find in the rest of these areas? Pune, you would find National Institute of Virology. National Institute of Virology. Hyderabad, well, National Institute of Nutrition. Chennai, Central Leather Research Institute. The Indian Navy has recently handed over a passenger variant Dornier aircraft. It's a tiny aircraft on lease to the Maritime Air Squadron of the National Coast Guard of Mauritius. This is Mauritius. This is Mauritius. Okay, you see this Mauritius, Seychelles. I'm fascinated with maps. Fascinated by also, you can say, but yeah, I really love maps because maps can tell us a lot of good things. See, if I would say Mauritius in the Indian Ocean, where in the Indian Ocean? The Indian Ocean is the third largest water body on the planet. So finding out, okay, it's there it's east of Madagascar. Some basic idea comes in. So you want to know about Mauritius? You could write. The capital is Port Louis. And the president is a guy called Wavell. No, that is Seychelles, man. The capital is right. Port Louis. And the prime minister is Pravind Jugnauth. Pravind Jugnauth. Okay. Now, couple of things here. Pravind Jugnauth. See, country is Singapore. This is Singapore at the tip of Malaysian Peninsula. Before I discuss those couple of things, Singapore. This is Singapore. Singapore's capital is Singapore City. The Prime Minister is Lee Hsien Loong. This is the Prime Minister's name. The currency is Singaporean dollar. And in the case of Mauritius, the currency is Mauritian rupee. Okay. Sorry, guys. Seychelles. I wanted to mention Seychelles also. You could write Seychelles. Capital is Victoria. The president's name is Wavell Ram Kalawan. See, this is an Indian name. Kalawan. Wavell Ram Kalawan. The currency is Seychelles rupee. Now you may wonder as to how did Indians land up in these places. You find Indians in the West Indies, Indians in Singapore, Indians in Malaysia, Indians in Fiji, Fiji is an island, northeast of Australia. Yeah. How did Indians land up? Well, in 1806, let me write numbers here. Life is that much easier when you write things. In 1806, Britain, which was the biggest colonial power at that time, abolished slavery. It said that we will no longer buy, sell people, which they were masters at. So now they still had colonies and they still needed people to work in all those colonies. The Europeans themselves would not do physical labor, and the locals were tiny in numbers. So what the Brits did in India was this. They took thousands of Indians as bonded labor to these different parts of the world where they had colonies. Like a lot of Gujaratis were taken to Kenya and Uganda, where they were engaged in what we say, sugar cane fields, sugar cane cultivation, everything. They were taken to Fiji. A lot of people from this part, the Hindi belt, or called the cow belt here, okay. From here, people were taken to Seychelles, Mauritius, West Indies. They were taken to Fiji like this. Tamils were taken to Malaysia, Singapore, geographically closer. Now think about this. Between 1810 and 1910, for about 100 years, Britain took thousands of laborers to different parts of the world as bonded labor, slave labor. On paper, they said we have abolished slavery, but they continued it in a different way. So you find Indians in all these parts because today, when you look at Veval Ram Kalawan or a Pravin Jugnauth or a Sunil Narayan in the West Indies or Mahindra Chaudhary, ex-Prime Minister of Fiji, they're all people who are descendants of the people who were taken away by the British as bonded labor. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, there are two kinds of Indians that live abroad. One is the NRI, the other is a PIO. The NRI is a non-resident Indian who was born in India, but is settled abroad. He is born in India but settled abroad. So non-resident Indian. Okay. But when we are talking of the other kind, the PIO, the person of Indian origin, this chap was born abroad, is resident abroad, citizen abroad, but whose forefathers were born in India. The forefathers came from India. Okay. That's how it is, my friends. Fair. You can learn a lot of good things if you explore a bit of history. I love history. And that's how we get to know all these things. So, that's about it, I guess. Some other time we will discuss the rest. Hindi Divas is celebrated annually on September 14th to promote the language and its usage across the country. Now, why is it celebrated on September 14th? You could write this. Hindi Divas dash September 14th, right, September 14th dash observed or celebrated on dash celebrated on this day because in 1949 the Constituent Assembly of India adopted adopted Hindi as the official language of India, Official language of India. India has two official languages. One is Hindi, the other is English. There is no national language. There are only two official languages and 22 scheduled languages. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in 1949, on 14th September, the Constituent Assembly adopted Hindi as the official language of India, and hence Hindi Divas. Okay. See, you would have found that I write spellings of certain words. Now, some of you might feel bad that why don't I know the spelling? Why is the teacher writing? So the teacher is not here to tell you you're wrong. The teacher is here to tell you that you can do better. And I'm here for the person who doesn't know the spelling. That's what a teacher is for. I can't tell you what, you don't even know this. You can learn anything. Now, if you had not known the correct spelling, there is a correct spelling of constituent. The next time, see, you practice it 3-4 times. Or bachpan mein likhte the, in our childhood we used to write 10 things, one word 10 times, 100 times, whatever. You do that, you will become better. There is no shame in admitting that one does not know. The shame is in not learning what one does not know. Yeah. So I'm here for the person who doesn't know. Very simple. Because I believe that teaching is about sharing what one knows. Look, for example, September 15th. Now, all of you would know that it is celebrated as Engineers Day. Celebrated as Engineers Day. And this is because this is the birthday of the great Moksha Gundam Visvesvaraya. Moksha Gundam Visvesvaraya. He is considered the father of one of the builders of modern India. He built the Krishna Rajasagar Dam in Karnataka, the Bhadravati steel plant, he also designed the flood system in Hyderabad. Okay, and those of you are from Hyderabad, I'll tell you that there is this Khairatabad flyover, okay, which near Khairatabad junction moving towards NTR Marg, Hussain Sagar. That is a flyover that is called Visvesvaraya flyover. Most of us would not know it, but that's the name, Visvesvaraya flyover. And ladies and gentlemen, he received the Bharat Ratna in 1955, the second year of the Bharat Ratna. Okay. So September 15th. 16th September, Ozone Day. Ozone Day. Not everything will be discussed elaborately, but this is fine. Ozone Day. Okay, Ozone Day. Just one thing, my friends. Ozone, see, when you look at the atmosphere, there's a troposphere. This is surface. Troposphere. Tropos means zone of mixture. At the poles, the height is about 8 to 10 kilometers. Yeah, 8 to 10 kilometers. And here at the equator, this is around 18 kilometers height. So here air mixes. That's why all weather phenomena takes place in the troposphere. So you have stratosphere. Because here minimal air movement happens, that's why aeroplanes prefer to fly here, because long distance flights. And the upper layer of the stratosphere is where you find the ozone. This is the mesosphere, middle layer. This is thermo, intensely hot, and then at the top you have the exosphere. Thermos or ionosphere. Ions are charged particles basically. So you can learn anything. You see, structure of the atmosphere in less than a minute. Bamboo Day. Bamboo Day. Bamboo बोलते हैं हिंदी में इसको. Bamboo Day. September 21st, Alzheimer's Day. This is a disease. Typically people, the most obvious, common symptom of Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is about forgetfulness, basically, dementia and all that. With which nation has India inked or India will link its respective fast payment systems, unified payments interface and pay now to enable users to make instant low cost fund transfers on a reciprocal basis? Singapore. You know what? India's UPI is considered one of the world's most advanced and most user-friendly payment systems. It's considered among the top 3 in the world. Yeah. Singapore. Okay. Sudan, Senegal. Why don't I tell you about this? Sudan. Sudan's capital is Khartoum. Till 2011, this was the biggest country in Africa, but that year in July 2011, the country split up. The southern part became an independent country called South Sudan. So today it is the third biggest country in Africa. Biggest is Algeria, as I mentioned a while ago. Algeria. Second is the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, and the third is Sudan. Okay, and the Prime Minister is Abdallah Hamdok. Abdallah Hamdok. Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok, and the currency is pound. Sudanese pound. Sudanese pound. Sudanese pound. Senegal is a country in Africa, sub-Saharan you could say, the western coast. Dakar, there is a very famous car rally called the Dakar car rally. The president is Macky Sall. Macky Sall, and the currency is franc. Franc. Senegalese franc. Okay. Seychelles we discussed a while ago, and Saudi Arabia, you know. Singapore also we discussed. Which company has launched Shopsy, an app that will enable Indians to start their own online businesses without any investment? Flipkart. Flipkart is owned by Walmart, the world's biggest company by sales. Remember, Walmart is the world's biggest company. On earth, it's the biggest company. Its last year, its turnover was $559 billion. Take $550 billion. That would be about 20% of India's GDP. Yeah, about 18-19% of India's GDP. That's a lot of GDP. That's a lot of revenue, isn't it? Yeah. Flipkart's CEO is Kalyan Krishnamurthy. Kalyan Krishnamurthy. Flipkart owns Myntra also. Kalyan Krishnamurthy. I think there is an H here. Walmart CEO is Doug. I'm so sorry, guys. Just slipped through my hands. Walmart CEO is Doug Macmillan. Let me write in full. Doug Macmillan. Doug Macmillan or Douglas Macmillan. That is the CEO of Walmart, which owns Flipkart. What about one more choice? Just one more choice. Swiggy. Swiggy was started by three guys. Sri Harsha Majeti, the current CEO. Sri Harsha Majeti, current CEO. Nandan Reddy. Nandan Reddy. Rahul Jaimini. Big Basket is owned by Tata's now. Okay. Patrick Cantley won the 2021 PGA Tour Player of the Year award. He plays golf. If you know what's PGA, PGA is Professional, Golf Association. Fair. So Patrick Cantley is nicknamed Patty Ice. Yeah, what is it? Patty Ice. I was surprised. I was reading about him. I never heard of him. Golf is not a sport I follow, so I was quite surprised when I found that he had won the World Amateur Golf Championship 6 times, and more importantly, recently he won the FedEx tournament, and he won $15 million prize money for it. $15 million is about 100 crores. Okay, work hard or play golf. So his nickname Patty Ice. Money is not everything, but you know how many years? He's about 45 something. It took an age for him to reach this stage. Okay, it took an age for him to reach this stage. Nothing happened overnight. So years of hard work, is what people bring. What brings people success, lasting success. So, and if success has to last, the hard work has to continue. Okay. So, Patrick, American, from American to a Russian. Two-time Olympic champion Yuri Sadik passed away recently. He was associated with hammer throw, and this guy represented the USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, or the Soviet Union. He won golds at the 1976 Montreal Olympic Games and 1980 Russian Olympic Games. Gold in both. Yeah. And he had a different technique. That's what I was reading about. You see, I read about everything that comes here. And then I filter information that I should give and I should not give. Yeah. It's very important to filter information. And also he won the gold at the 1991 World Championship in Tokyo. Hammer throw guy. Okay. So one of his techniques is that he would twirl the hammer thrice. Okay. Whereas normally 4 times is what most people twirl it. I mean they twirl it. I mean firate hain 4 times. This guy says 3 is enough. 3 times is enough. So different technique. Capital adequacy ratio for banks is fixed as per the norms of Basel Committee for Banking Supervision. Now, I'm going to discuss this in detail as to what is CAR and a few more terms in the next session. Because whenever I have sent it, I have discussed everything except I think one particular thing, the e-rupee particular. I remember all that stuff. Maybe one of these days I'll discuss the e-rupee also. It hasn't taken off in a big way. Yeah, but anyway, we'll discuss it. But on Friday, in the Friday session, we'll discuss CAR and more about this stuff. Okay. So we'll look at why there was a need for mergers of Indian banks and all that stuff also. Fair? Yeah, we will discuss, as I said. I'll bring this question back there. In business, goodwill is an intangible asset. Intangible means something that cannot be seen, something that cannot be physically seen or touched. Goodwill is a good name. A good name. Your family has a very good name in business. It's a goodwill of the business. Business works on that basis usually. Okay. So you cannot really say that this phone. Okay, this is the value of this phone. You can say this is the value of the phone, but you cannot say this is the value of the goodwill. Though you can give certain value to that, technically it's difficult to arrive at a particular value because different people look at the same thing differently when it comes to goodwill. According to the annual bank statistics of 2020 released by the Swiss Bank National Bank, which country topped the list of foreign clients' money in Swiss banks during 2020? UK. UK has more than $150 billion. British nationals have put more than $150 billion, in Swiss banks. India ranks 51st. We are not so good nowadays. Yeah. The highest was UK, followed by the US. So there's not much to discuss here. Okay, but if you want to top 5 countries, you could write top 5 countries that have parked money here. 1 UK, 2 US, 3 the whole of West Indies, those tiny countries, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, Antigua, all these countries. That's how they are pronounced. 4 is what is that? Yeah, France. And 5th is Hong Kong. Okay. According to the 6th edition of Sustainable Development Report released by the Sustainable Development Solutions Network, India was ranked 120th rank. Why don't we write this? Sustainable Development Report. Top 5. India ranked 120th. So let's write 1. Finland. 2. Sweden. 3. Denmark. 4, 5. 1. Finland. 2. Sweden. 3. Denmark. 4. Germany. 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 5. Belgium. Belgium, Belgium. I repeat, Belgium, Belgium. Okay. And India rank 120. India rank 120. India rank 120. Last rank 165. Last rank 165. CAR, capital adequacy. I'm so sorry. It's still in the mind, I think. It is Central African Republic. Central African Republic. I just mentioned capital adequacy ratio. Because I told you that I would discuss in the next session. I normally would want to discuss in this section, but it would take some time. So I think it's still in the brain. Central African Republic. Okay. The Reserve Bank of India has given an in-principle approval to set up a small finance bank which will take over the beleaguered Punjab and Maharashtra Cooperative Bank. The PMC Bank scam was a major scam, and this has been given to Centrum Financial Services. Centrum Financial Services will now open a small finance bank, an SFB, which will take over PMC Bank. Okay. Now, so you write the chairman of Centrum Financial Services. Chairman of Centrum Financial Services. What's his name? Chandir Gidwani. Let me write it. It's like tough. Chandir Gidwani. Chandir Gidwani. And we'll just write one more. IDFC First Bank. V. Vaidyanathan. CEO. V. Vaidyanathan. Okay. Which country has topped the IMD's World Competitiveness Index? IMD is a business school in Switzerland. In Switzerland, there is a place called Lausanne. What is it? Lausanne. There is a college, a management college called IMD, International Institute of Management Development. Okay. So this college comes out with a particular index every year, and I would want you to write this. Yeah, just write. Right. Ranks 64 nations. Ranks 64 nations. You write the title there. IMD World Competitiveness Index. Ranks 64 nations. According to how they manage. According to how they manage. According to how they manage. How they manage their competencies to achieve long-term goals, to achieve long-term value creation, through efficient infrastructure, institutions and policies full stop. Top 5 countries. So basically it focuses on value creation through better infrastructure, better institutions like judiciary, rule of law, all that stuff. Okay. So top 5. Switzerland 1. You write like this. 1. Switzerland. It's already mentioned there. Switzerland. 2. Sweden. 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 It's there in choice 1. 3. Denmark. 4. Netherlands. 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 5. Singapore. So the most competitive country in the world outside Europe is Singapore, isn't it? Because we said Sweden. Sorry, we said Switzerland, Sweden. Yeah, Denmark, Netherlands. So all four are European countries. Okay, next 16 China. 16 China. 43 rank 43 India. Rank 43 India. Rank 43 India. Rank 64. Rank 64 Venezuela. Venezuela. Okay. Yeah. I think this should be fine. Last rank 64. Which bank has launched a Salam Dil Se initiative to show gratitude to doctors? HDFC Bank, led by Sashi Jagdishan. Sashidhar Jagdishan. Sashidhar Jagdishan. Sashidhar Jagdishan. Sashidhar Jagdishan. ICICI Bank CEO Sandeep Bakshi. Sandeep Bakshi. State Bank of India Dinesh Khara. Dinesh Khara. Bank of Baroda Sanjeev Chadda. Sanjeev Chadda. CHADHA Chadda, single D. Last one, Punjab National Bank. Punjab National Bank. SS Mallikarjun. SS Mallikarjun. Okay. That's about it, guys. Have a lot of fun. As I mentioned, in the next session we'll discuss CR and a related, few related things. Thanks for being here. Have a lot of fun. Stay curious.